You may have heard a few things about hot new indie game Celeste. For one, Celeste is a bit tricky. Classic Nintendo levels of challenge, pixel perfect jumps, mad puzzles, and the like. Due to this and its retro aesthetic, there have been comparisons to top tier indie platformers like Super Meat Boy, as well as golden era classics like Mega Man 2 and Mario 3. It is also a truly amazing game. IGN gave it a perfect 10, it has a universal acclaim rating on Metacritic, and currently sits as the third best rated game on Switch. But I think what elevates it beyond its indie platform brethren is its heartfelt story. The tale of young Madeline's self-imposed struggle to climb the eponymous mountain. The mountain, as is often the case in fictional works, is a metaphor. A metaphor for her anxiety and depression. Your task in Celeste is to overcome all three. Celeste's mechanics seemingly complement her struggle. With real-world anxiety, there can be an overhanging sense of dread that every potential little mistake you make feels like the end of the world. This is usually referred to as aversion anxiety, one's inner struggle to get anything done due to being uncomfortable or unwilling to continue in certain circumstances. In the game, mistakes are numerous and deaths constant. But the lack of life system shows that it's okay to make mistakes, and insta-respawn shows that, even after a fuck-up, you are never further back than if you didn't do anything at all. There is no punishment for not succeeding within a time frame or within a certain number of tries. This all combats the ever-present controller-breaking frustration of harder games. It may be hard, but the game seems to say, if you keep trying, you will overcome whatever challenge you're up against. This continues on with the greater challenges, i.e. the strawberries and the B-side, C-side tapes. These are not essential to completing the game, and this is stressed upon with the game's friendly, non-threatening postcard load screens. You don't need to collect all the strawberries. They are there only if you want a greater challenge, just to impress your friends. You don't need to drive yourself to distraction attempting to get every secret. They are there for your own peace of mind, your own measure of success. The mental health subtext is probably at its most overt when Madeline races against the other part of herself. A composite of her doubts and worries embodied by a goth reskin of herself. Madeline at first tries to outrun these feelings before eventually facing them head on. Though super hard, fighting depression in its physical embodiment is extremely satisfying. The game itself is all-consuming. The Switch is great for half paying attention to games, with either the TV in the background or music playing over the top. But with Celeste, all of my mind space is taken up by the game. I know that if I don't have the game's epic score audible, the timings get harder to hit. All other real-world troubles cease to exist, just the game and this current screen's obstacles. Another reason Celeste is really connecting with people is the narrative relates to them directly. It's not a case of wish fulfillment, of being someone other than yourself. Sure, you play as Madeline, but she's the typical every girl, with worries, exes, and plenty of relatable traits. The genre standards of saving the world or the princess have lost their allure. They're too impersonal. The world is fucked either way. Celeste focuses on the inner turmoil. Princesses don't need to be saved anymore. They have the agency to save themselves. In a way, Madeline is the princess saving herself from her negative thoughts, to overcome them and reach her self-realized goal. Other games have explored mental health in its various forms, but mostly in a cringy, damaging way with all too many psychotic antagonists. That is until recently. Last year, Hellblade notably focused on psychosis within its gameplay. Its sound design, when paired with headphones, gives the player the experience of dealing with the crippling voices and self-doubt that typify the condition. This, combined with the game's warnings of finite lives, give the player a game with actual consequences. Darkest Dungeons, with its sanity system, also gave some weight to its adventurer's mental well-being in the face of unthinkable eldritch horrors. Of course, in real life there is no PTSD gauge, but the fact that it's something you need to be aware of is admirable. Many gamers use video games as a way to deal with their symptoms. You can check out Nakey Jakey's recent video on the depression combating qualities of Dark Souls difficulty. And this is great and progressive. 1 in 4 people will experience a mental health problem this year. And any way that people can find to treat these symptoms is to be championed. Awareness has increased over the last few years, with celebrities coming out about their inner mental struggles. The stigma has lessened, but there's still a hurdle present in allowing people to talk about it comfortably. Video games can be a way to bridge that gap. Everyone's struggle is different though, and if your experience doesn't sync up with the one that Celeste presents, then that's okay too. Without the trappings that we've spent the last minutes talking about, it's still a dazzling platformer that will deeply impress you with its depth. Just grab the controller, let the soundtrack wash over you, and make those first steps forward. You can thank me later.